So from a social perspective, every Lakota must have a direct relationship with Lakota, with Buffalo. And we're creating opportunities for people to have that direct connection and that direct interaction. Whether it's taking kids from our Lakota language immersion school out onto the land where they can participate in a buffalo harvest in conjunction with our food sovereignty initiative. Whether it's our kids doing an entire Buffalo Learning Centered project, which they're doing right now for the year or for the semester. Whether it's just having an individual who says, you know what, I want to see buffalo and I want to be able to go see them. As well as all of the learning that goes along with that. And from an even deeper perspective, we have to have a spiritual relationship. Yes. And through buffalo harvest, through interacting with buffalo, where our spirits are able to connect. That is where the magic happens. And you know, you can find Western ways to measure that, but you know, every person who experiences the buffalo herd creates their own personal connection, and that's unique. That's for them. That's where the magic happens with them. And I can only assume that the buffalo are having an unequal, you know, kind of return. But you know, again, you know, they're giving to us in so many more ways than we can even imagine or think of.
And how specifically do the buffalo help the environment?
The Great Plains prairie ecosystem was developed and emerged over, you know, thousands of years of having these massive herds of buffalo on it. And the original prairie ecosystems were incredibly vibrant, deep and lush. You know, there's early accounts, Western accounts, where people wrote about, you know, these massive grasslands where the grass was over 6 feet tall. And on the other side, we had these incredible root systems that went down into the ground up to 6 feet. And these grasslands served as incredible carbon sinks. And much of the environmental you know, kind of work and a lot of the climate change discussion has really centered on forests and the oceans, and rightly so. What has been left out of the conversation has been grasslands. And part of our work is bringing grasslands back into the climate change discussion. And when buffalo were eradicated, you know, and basically, you know, taken off the land, what happened was the Dust Bowl. That was a direct result of the removal of buffalo from the plains ecosystem. And when you remove buffalo, the rest of the ecosystem begins to fall. Plant and animal biodiversity decreases, and you see decreased microbiological soil health. When you reintroduce buffalo back onto the Great Plains prairie ecosystem, they begin to regenerate the land. You see increased plant and animal biodiversity and increased microbiological health in the soil, which is so important from a soil health perspective, you know, especially if we only have 60, 59 growing seasons left on the planet, is what the scientists are telling us. So, and they create these incredible carbon sinks, and they even create microclimates. One of the things that buffalo do is a practice called wallowing, where they will use their horns and kind of tear up a portion of the ground and then wallow in it to, you know, that's part of their health. Well, what happens over time is those wallows fill up with water and create these mini wetland environments, which become homes to, you know, birds and, you know, help increase, you know, kind of aquatic animals. And so they're healing the land and restoring and rewilding the environment, while at the same time creating carbon sinks that are going to help combat climate change. So a part of our work, a part of what we're doing is we're just providing a space for buffalo and Buffalo,
I do the
Lakota,
work.
they are the actual climate fighters.
Yeah.
They are the actual justice fighters. And again, I always come back to this idea that there's no challenge that we can't tackle. You know, from an environmental perspective, you know, globally, 80% of Earth's biodiversity is protected on 25% of the Earth's land, which is controlled by indigenous people, who make up 5% of the Earth's population.
That's amazing.
We've been punching above our weight for a long time.
Yeah.
And if we take those lessons learned and we begin to put indigenous people at the forefront of these conversations, we're going to be able to show the rest of the world what's possible.